Good evening to all my friends in Florida. I can hear the applause all the way up I-95. And I know many of you came from all across the state to be with this great group tonight, from Pensacola to Pinellas County to Palm Beach. I am terribly sorry that I can't be with you in person. I can tell you're all having a good time and doing amazing work alongside of that too. Out of an abundance of caution, I thought I'd be better to be with you tonight virtually. It wasn't the plan that we drew up, but that's certainly been 2020. You should know that I'm feeling fine. I'm doing great. I've been tested twice in 2 days. I'm as healthy as I've been. And I intend still. I have a trip that I'm planning to take to Asia tomorrow. I had a chance to speak to the Vice President a few minutes ago, where everything's in a good order. I hope that you will all join me in praying for the speedy recovery of President Trump and our First Lady Melania as well. Congressman Stubbe, thank you for the generous introduction and for your service to our country. Your service in the military postdated mine by a little bit, as you did your time in Congress. I know you're serving America quite ably. Thanks so much for your very, very kind introduction. John, I want to thank you, John Sternberger. I want to thank you and the Family Policy Council of Florida for your incredibly principled leadership. My wife and I taught Sunday school back in Wichita, Kansas, not too many years ago. We know of your organization. We know of organizations like it all across America that are truly doing important work on behalf of the Lord and on behalf of the people of Florida as well. You know, I was last in the Sunshine State back in January. I was speaking at the Sumter County Fairgrounds in Bushnell, back over in horse country. It was really fun that day to be with so many patriots. It reminded me that no matter where I go in the world, speaking with American people is still my greatest privilege. And so I'm just happy to be with you tonight, even if it's by video. Look, I've been traveling as a Secretary of State all across the world, but I've been traveling a lot in America too. I want the American people to know what their State Department is doing for them and how the Trump administration is executing its diplomatic mission all across the world on behalf of the American people. I was in Wisconsin last week. I was in Texas. I've been traveling, talking about the good work that our diplomats are doing all across the world. And tonight, I want to talk about an important part of that. Indeed, I just got back from Europe, where I went to the Vatican to talk about this very set of issues. And in Brazil now, just 2 weeks back, I saw America's goodness at work. I went to a town, Pompeo Vista, just on the off the Venezuelan border. I watched for myself how we're helping, Americans are helping those fleeing the socialist nightmare that is Venezuela today. Some of you in the audience probably still have family members there. It was heartening to see our good work, but it was sobering, completely sobering to see men and women and children seeking medical care, seeking reunification with family members who had already fled from the horrors of Venezuela, looking for basic food, shelter, just the simple things that we all need to sustain. I had the chance to speak with one man. It was a father of a couple of kids. I had a chance to hear his story. He kept thanking God over and over for delivering him and his family from the sheer misery that has become Venezuela. And I was thanking God along with him. The truth is, I don't think he would have been this way with the Chinese foreign minister or the Russian foreign minister. He was with America's Secretary of State. He knew he was talking to the representative of a country that respects every single life. And that's what I want to talk about this evening, this piece of our work at the State Department. You know, moments like that remind me that as Secretary of State, I represent the nation with the most special set of founding principles in all of recorded history. They compel every one of our leaders to respect life. The Declaration of Independence tells us that all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among them are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You go back and read the Federalist Papers. It's pretty clear. Our founders knew God himself grants all human beings a very essential dignity. And we as a nation and our State Department are exceptional because we use our power, our foreign policy power, to honor that dignity when so many countries choose to execute their power and use their power in far different ways. Look, we've done this for decades. America is truly a light to the world. But this administration has been unique. It's been special. Our administration has drawn on our first principles to defend life in our foreign policy like no administration in all of history. Look no further than our unprecedented defense of the unborn abroad. You know, this is a very personal issue for me. Some years ago, long before I'd been a member of the executive branch, the Pompeo family was made complete when my sister adopted two beautiful gifts of life, my niece Emily and my nephew James. Now, it was never a doubt in my mind that life begins at conception. My faith teaches me that. And I think everyone here tonight agrees with that. But my sister's incredible love refreshed my view on how precious life is. Two mothers that made wonderful choices. Now, back to what we've done at the State Department, because you'll never read about it much in the papers or hear our accomplishments reported a whole lot on TV. We brought back what's called the Mexico City policy under President Trump. It makes sure that none of your money, none of your taxpayer money will ever go to any foreign entity or non-governmental organization that performs or actively promotes abortion for family planning. It'd be unacceptable to permit that to happen. And last year, for the first time in history, as a Secretary of State, I made clear that we won't fund any foreign non-governmental organization that gives money to other foreign entities in the global abortion industry. We're using every element of federal law to prohibit the use of the State Department's funds to lobby on behalf of abortion, and it's successful. Last year, a good example, Secretary Azar at the Health and Human Services, he and I rallied 20 countries to deliver a joint statement to condemn pro-abortion language that continued to slip into UN documents. We said clearly, there is no international right to abortion, none. That's different. It's special. It's what President Trump's leadership demands. After we released that statement, one of our colleagues at HHS received an email from an African friend in the pro-life movement. She said, quote, "Never did I think that America would use its great power to speak for the protection of the unborn in the most unambiguous and unapologetic terms. But America's special. America's special because we respect life." Now, we need your help. Pro-abortion organizations are funding and lobbying for abortion internationally, just as they do here at home. We need every one of you who's in attendance tonight. We need you to use your networks and platforms to fight back against these pressures. We need you to applaud other governments when they courageously stand for life alongside the United States of America. All in all, we need you to tell the world the truth. Abortion is not a human right. It takes a human life. There's a second area I'm proud of in respect to our work for life, defending religious freedom. Congressman spoke about that. There's good reason for this. It's incredibly important. Religious freedom is our first freedom. When we, each of us, can worship freely and openly discuss the eternal questions of the soul, we can understand how we ought to live our lives, both individually and as a society. Just this past week, I mentioned I was in Rome, meeting with senior Vatican officials. I urged the church to be a bold moral witness in defense of religious freedom, especially regarding China and the Chinese Communist Party's staggering abuses. I'm sure some of you have seen the list, but the reporters don't like to talk about this much. Today, 1 million or more Uyghurs and other Muslims are held in internment camps that rival the worst abuses that happened a century ago in Europe. Even as you sit in this beautiful place tonight, this great group of people, Christians in China, are being ordered to replace pictures of Jesus with pictures of Chairman Mao. Indeed, the peaceful Falun Gong movement banned its practitioners, frequently jailed. We in the Trump administration have spoken up about these abuses. We've taken action against those responsible. And importantly, we've rallied our friends and allies around the world to do the same. We've not led from behind. We've led from the front on this incredibly important moral issue.